Let's move on now to your New England Patriots and our first round prediction series. But before we do that, Ryan and I, we have a special announcement. We are going live on YouTube on April 27th for the first round at 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified when we do go live and also when we release new content. And while you're joining us live to watch the draft, feel free to provide comments. Let us know what your takes are on what the Patriots drafts or other players that were picked during that time. So, Ryan, let's get into your Patriots here.
Let's do it.
Very interesting decisions to be made here. They've kind of got a JSN-like receiver and Juju Smith-Schuster. You've made that comparison a lot in our other Patriots videos. They have addressed the tackle position, not with great tackle position, but they have added veteran depth in Calvin Anderson and Riley Reef, I believe. Yes. Okay. So sitting here at 14, what do you think that they should do?
So I'm going to break this up into two different parts. What do I think they should do and what do I think they will do? I think that they're probably going to trade back and try to accumulate more picks. I think Dalton Kincaid, JSN, even Quentin Johnston are going to be on the board. And I think that there are a couple teams in the early 20s, Chargers, Ravens, who's at 23? Oh, Vikings, that might want to come up, get one of those weapons. Also, you got to think the last of the edge rushers, the top tier edge rushers are going to be coming off right around there. And I think the Patriots could definitely use a few more top 100 picks. And so I think moving back would be something that they would definitely do. If I'm at 14, I would really want to see an offensive tackle or a wide receiver come off the board. I think you look at what they've done the last few years. I think this defense has been playing really, really well. And I say really, really well in terms of league standards. Bill Belichick standards, it's been about average. But I think you looked at the team last year, and that defense was not a weak spot. And then they bring in Adrian Clem, the offensive line coach from Oregon. They bring in Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator. And I just think you have to give them something to work with and start building this new wave of offensive weapons. And whether that's an elite offensive tackle, Darnell Wright is one of my personal favorites. I think you put him at right tackle next to Mike Onwenu, and we're running for 6 yards a pop. And I really like that combination. But then I also think, all right, if we are sold on a receiver, whether it's Quentin Johnston, JSN, Zay Flowers, even Jordan Addison, I don't want to try to get too cute and like, oh, well, let's trade back to 20 and then like we'll take them there. And then somebody trades in front of you and takes the wide receiver that you want. And then that's how you get into the Cole Strange situation where it's like, well, there's no players left that we want, so we need a player at this position. Who's the best player there? And then you end up drafting a third rounder from UT Chattanooga. And so it's like, that's what I want to avoid in this class. I really want to draft a really strong offensive player that's going to make a day one impact.
Yeah. I mean, Cole Strange, in his defense, I mean,
he had a good rookie year.
So I think you would take a similar level of performance. But I do agree with you as well. I would think Darnell Wright would be good. I think this is a decent area for Broderick Jones. And it's interesting, too, because the Jets are picking right before them. We just did that video, and it should be coming out also. Be sure to go check out our take on what we think they should do in the draft. Because what I said about Broderick Jones there is I don't really like them taking Broderick Jones there as much because he has a high ceiling but really low floor because he's super raw. And the Jets don't have the depth that the Patriots do to kind of build around him. While I think the Patriots, though, when they got Calvin Anderson, got Riley Reef, they are not premier tackles, but they are serviceable tackles for the time being. And I think that would allow him to kind of grow and hone his skills to where then he can be that serviceable, like freak athlete that we know he can be at left tackle or right tackle, whichever one.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I think if you draft a guy like Broderick Jones, I really like that pick. You just paid Adrian Clem a buttload of money. He was the offensive line coach at Oregon, and you brought him in for the exact reason of shaping and molding offensive linemen. And it's like, okay, so what do you do his first year? You go and get the most athletic offensive lineman in the draft, and we're like, all right, coach him up, make him Trent Williams, because I made that comparison in a bunch. I think that he has that ceiling to be the best tackle in the NFL. He just needs to be shaped and molded into that. So I think that would be a really solid move. I would like him to play more on the left side, and then you would kick Trent Brown back over to the right tackle side, and then you have two really good backup tackles in Riley Reef and Calvin Anderson. And then and I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be a tremendous move. So yeah, I like that. Receiver wise, so you mentioned in the beginning that I compared JSN to Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think they're similar players, and there's just a lot of overlap in the role that they play.
Yeah, that's a fair statement on what you've said in the past.
Yeah, and I just think if you're going to draft a receiver, they need to play a bigger role in this offense than 50% of the snaps, right?
Yeah.
And so I think going and getting a guy like Zay Flowers, to me, would fit the system the best, because he has the speed on the outside to really take a top off the defense. And then you can put Tyquan at the Z receiver, so he's not facing as much man coverage. And then you have Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot, who's more of the possession guy. So I think that would be the route that they would go if they went receiver. I do just have a lot of questions about actual receiver value in this class. And I think if you want to, I hate playing the draft safe, because to me, when you play safe, you play to lose. And it's like, but I just think at 14, you have to hit on this pick. Matt Groh, the day we're recording this, Matt Groh, the Patriots de facto general manager, he's the president of player personnel. They don't really give out the general manager title. But he's like, every year 32 GMs want to succeed on their first round pick because their jobs depend on it. He's like, nobody thinks to themselves, yeah, I can miss on my first round pick and be okay.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think if you want to make sure that you hit, or you want to increase your chances of hitting in the first round, I think going with one of those tackles is probably the way to go.
Yeah. Well, and it's, a lot of people now are projecting Darnell Wright to go at, like, I've seen a 17, 16 even. And it's like, at that point, if you really like him, or Broderick Jones as well, be like, just take him. We know he's going to be a first round tackle. It doesn't matter. It won't be as big of a reach as they made last year. So it'll be this is like a respectable, like, this is a player that you like, and it's within 10 to 20 picks of where, like, the consensus is where he should fall. And so I think that would be fine. I think tackle would be good as well. I will also want to be surprised if they go defense. I think I feel like adding corners, I think, might also be something that they could add there. Joey Porter Jr., Deontay Banks are rising up as well. So also, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Brian Branch, do you think that would be a good fit? Because I just think that
I do.
He would be a guy, a Swiss Army knife. He can play a lot of different spots in that secondary.
So you watch Brian Branch on film, and you can really see just like how smart he is on the football field. He has a really high football IQ. And the Patriots just lost Devin McCourty, their longtime safety. And I think if they draft Brian Branch, while I would prefer an offensive tackle or a wide receiver, it'd be like, okay, I get it. Like, you want to plug that hole on defense. Brian Branch, well, I'm not going to come out and be like, if they draft Brian Branch, he would be a guaranteed Patriots Hall of Famer. Like, not in Canton, but like in Foxborough. And it's like, but he would have a pretty damn good shot at it. Like, he would be pretty good. So I like that fit. I don't think Brian Branch is going to make it past 10 where the Eagles pick, because they also need a safety, and this is a really poor safety class. So I think that would be an interesting pick. Another one is Christian Gonzalez. I really like his athleticism, and the Patriots have a knack for being able to draft and develop corners. I think you look at Jack Jones and Marcus Jones, the two guys they drafted last year, had really solid rookie seasons. J.C. Jackson was an undrafted rookie. Malcolm Butler was an undrafted rookie. So I think you look at that side of it, they have a really good success rate with corners. So I do think that is definitely another way that they could go. I just would prefer an offensive player because your big additions this offseason were Bill O'Brien and Adrian Clem. It's like, all right, give them something to work with. Don't just run it back with the same cast that you have now.
Yeah, don't rely on Juju Smith-Schuster being the face of that receiving core.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but let's go ahead. Let's wrap up the Patriots draft preview there. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see the Patriots do at 14 overall. Should they trade it, move back? Should they trade it and move up? Do you want them to draft Broderick Jones or Jackson Smith and Jigba? Let us know down below. And one more thing, Tyler and I are going live on April 27th. So go ahead and go over to our channel and smash that bell on that video so you get notified when we go live and see our live reaction to all of the draft picks. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.